It's a big thing in the ends playing for Arsenal and being that guy, but then also there's hatred around you. A lot of kids aren't happy for you. They're thinking, why is he getting this opportunity? Yo, my name's Joel Laugenie. I'm 25 years old. I'm from West London, a borough called Ealing, and then a little town in the borough called Hanwell. With my parents, I guess it was like kind of a normal upbringing. Obviously, my parents got divorced at the age of 7, so I went through that whole change and transaction of then just living with my mum and then only seeing my dad certain times during the week and whatnot. At the time, I didn't realise how it affected me, but then obviously like, I've grown up my whole life doing counselling, anger management, even at school, and then they're sending me other places. I've done things like, there's a thing that I did called Landmark, where I'm meeting kids all over the world that have gone through similar experiences and whatnot. So I had to do a lot of courses and things like that to just try and keep my mind right and on track. I feel like how I initially got into it is just as if every kid does. You start playing at school. My dad then took me to a Sunday league team. And I know my Sunday league team, they was lit. We didn't lose no games for like 3 years. So it was kind of like unstoppable at the time. But then when I was 9, I remember I stayed at my grandma's house with my dad, and then in the morning we've just gone to the shop. And then there's been rumours about, obviously she lives in Brentford, so the manager at the time was Martin Allen. He does go to this shop some mornings, and so I just went there on a normal morning with my dad, and Martin Allen was in front of us. So I guess my dad kind of just speeched him quickly, and I was training with Brentford a couple of weeks after that. I'll be real, I was not the best player in the team. I was up there, but I was not the best. So my dad was very strict on the routine of things that we would do when I'm not training. Because also these times it was probably only had training like twice a week. So the days when I didn't have training, he made me work. So if it was going to goals and just doing a one-on-one session with him, that's what I was doing. Or if it was going to goals and there'd be a coach called Ray Nicholson who, both his sons were at Tottenham, a couple of years older than me. I would train with them. And then if it wasn't even doing that, my dad is riding a bike and I'm running. So it was very he was on point with it. I wanted to get better. I had one goal from the age of 9, and that was to be a professional footballer. So that's what it was for me. Summer camps in Bordeaux from early, so when I'm playing with Brentford throughout the season, obviously we get like a 6-week break period, like the summer holidays. My dad didn't let me waste that time, so we'd fly to France, and because I have family in France. But then I wouldn't stay with them. I'd go to the Bordeaux summer camp for 2 weeks every time, and then even when I'm not there, I'm training. But that was all mad because I don't speak French. So it was a bit weird, but I loved football that much that it was lit. And then I'm winning. I always remember at the end of the week, they used to give awards, and I can't lie, I think every single time I went there, I would win like Player of the Week, like you get like a diploma, and I used to love that. You see now when I would come back to then training with Brentford after that, I was at a different level to the people around me because they hadn't been doing the work that I've been doing. So that's when I really then turned into probably like the best in my team. And my game was just on a different level. So I think when I was going back to Brentford, they'd play me up an age group. And it still wasn't too challenging at that time. I can't lie, because when we were playing teams, we were battling up a lot of teams, and I was me and another player called Montel, like any team that we played, we was destroying. So the hype, I kind of just word of mouth from clubs, before we were playing the game, the other players, they know my name, I know my name, they know Montel's name, they know what's coming. So I feel like just that attention generated the older agents and whatnot to then have an eye on me. because I built up a small hype. Signed with my first agent at the age of like 11, and with me it was lit because it's just like I'm on my way to being a professional, and what I knew at that time is like professional players have agents. So I thought it was quite lit for me. So I was nine or 10, one of the two. That's when they gave me a 2-year contract. So I signed that. I was gassed, obviously. I was at primary school at the time, and there was another boy that played for QPR, so that we always had like a little bit of a rivalry. So I was at Brentford, I was at QPR, we used to play each other, and at our primary school it was like, who's going to be the better footballer? Yeah, so at under 11s, under 12, it came to the period where they are offering the players contracts and whatnot. So usually they're only allowed to actually offer you a 2-year contract, but I think it's called a YD6. It's like a 4-year contract till scholarship, and that's what they tried to put on me. But at this time, this is when, that season alone, I really had a lot of attention around me from a lot of bigger and better clubs at the time. It's Barcelona, Real Madrid, Arsenal, Tottenham, Lille, Bordeaux. Like, I was being watched. But these times, you know what, when my dad used to tell me like, yeah, like Real Madrid and that, I'll watch you, I just thought he was kind of like gassing me a little bit to make me even perform better than I would. But then he wasn't even really lying to me. So my dad said there's no way, because he wants me to develop to be the best player that I could be, and playing with the players that I was playing around, obviously at Chelsea or Real Madrid or Barcelona, there's better kids, and the development that they get put through is probably a better development that Brentford could offer me. So he just thought, he wants me to become the best player that I can be, so I've got to play with the best kids around the world for that to happen. So he rejected the offer. It was fast, straight away. As soon as he rejected the offer, I think I had to wait like 2 weeks till I could go somewhere. But then the first club that I went to, I got flown to Barcelona. That was like, for me, all this is happening, it's crazy at the same time, especially when I landed in Barcelona. There's paparazzi and whatnot. I was on Barcelona TV because at the same time, there's a player called Seydou Keita, who's obviously in the first team at that time. He landed at the same time as me, and we've got the same agent. So like, the paparazzi was all mad. I felt like a superstar. It was like a dream all coming true. I loved it. I don't want to come home. Like, just the culture and how everything was there. It's all about football, and I was gassed because even there's a lot of young black players there from my country, Cameroon. So they really took me under their wing and made me feel at home. And I felt like I'm at the best club in the world right now. Not too much can be better for me. But obviously I'm only 12 years old, so my mum, even at the same time while I was there, she was a bit skeptical about it, because they wouldn't move my whole family over. You all have to stay in like one house with the other players, so I'd be away from home from such an early age. And do you know, back then it wasn't really so popular to go abroad and play football. No one was really doing it at the time. I know now it's like nearly a route to do, but back then it wasn't really that. I've done my 2 weeks there, and then I've got flown back to England not for that long, but then from England now, I've flown to France to go and have a look at Bordeaux. But with Bordeaux, it's a bit different, because whereas I was doing the summer camps there, also sometimes when the summer camp was finished and the actual academy got back into training, I would start training with them. So I kind of knew there's already a relationship there. So I went to Bordeaux to do 2 weeks there and just see how it is really. And then from Bordeaux, I had to have a look. Basically, my agent wanted me to look at, and my family wanted me to view all options around. So after the 2 weeks at Bordeaux, I remember me and my dad, we drove from Bordeaux to Lille, and if you know about France, that is a long drive. But I'll never forget it. But so then now from Bordeaux, I've gone to Lille, and then at Lille, unfortunately, like on the second day, I think they trained me with like the older age group. I got injured, I got hurt, so a couple of days later, I just flew back to England. So when I came back to England now, I went into Spurs, and it's gonna be mad me saying this, but I like Tottenham the most because I haven't been around like players my age that speak English, and I can't have conversations and actually have banter and whatnot with the players when I'm in Barcelona to a certain extent, and then in France because they don't speak English. So now when I was at Tottenham, it's like, this is my home, and I just loved everything about it. 5 to 6 weeks, but then what happened was we played Arsenal, and I'll never forget the game. I think Arsenal smoked us like 14-2. It was different. You had Jermaine Anderson scoring goals and penalties with his left foot. They were like mocking us. But whereas me and 2 other players, we had a different sort of attitude to the game. So when I'm losing, I don't like losing. I don't do losing, so I'm fighting the whole game, whereas a lot of other players in our team gave up and were like faking injuries. We were young these times as well, so kids are like faking injuries a lot. Me and 2 other players, we really fought to the end, even though we lost 14-2. But if people could hear this right now, I know you didn't get the better of me on that pitch that day. After that game, Arsenal actually spoke to my dad. And even at the end of the game, what's his name? The guy at Tottenham, like we're getting told off madly, but he's pulled up 3 of us and said like, these are the only players that actually deserve to be here right now. And then I remember he's gone round us. He's like, "How long have you been here?" One player's like, 5 years. "How long have you been here?" He said how many years he's been there, and then it was me. "How long have you been here?" And I was like, 4 weeks. And then, but yeah, so the Arsenal coach after that game actually got in contact with my dad and my agent and said, like, what's my situation at Tottenham? And then they were surprised that I'd only been there for the time that I was there, like 5 weeks or whatnot. So then they asked me to come to their training like 2 days later. So I went to the training, and then they said, "Cool, can you play on Saturday? And then we'll give you an answer straight away." So these times, I can't lie, we are ignoring Tottenham. And Tottenham already offered me a better deal than Arsenal even gave me in the end. But Tottenham we ignored them, and then I went to the Arsenal training. I didn't even like it at the start, because I've got comfortable with all the other players at Tottenham. Like, I've got friends now, so it was a bit cool. But I went along with it, and then we played Crystal Palace on the Saturday, and I'd done well, I guess, and after that they told me basically the ball's in my court. So after that is when me, my dad, my agent, my mum sat down and weighed up all the options. Well, I say we, but my dad was in control. I didn't get to choose. If I got to choose, I know who I probably would have chosen, but my dad chose Arsenal in the end. You've got Alex Iwobi, Chuba Akpom, Jermaine Anderson. The list goes on. That's the thing. Like, there's probably about 5 of us that don't actually currently play, and they probably will have similar stories to me. So I know certain things that I'm saying right now, they're gonna feel a type of way when they do hear this, because they know how it actually feels and how it was. But certain players that have made it the furthest right now, they weren't the best at that age. So they've actually developed crazily, because they weren't that guy at under 15s or 16s. So yeah, I was levels, man. I know everyone can vouch. Attitude and desire straight away, because even me, having everything was kind of at my feet 24/7. So even my attitude was a bit switched off. Like, I just thought I'm that guy. I'm lit. Like, I'm here for a reason. I'm going to the top. I'm getting sold promises from my agent. My agent's telling me, like, yeah, you're gonna be a superstar. Like, that's just what it is. So I just kind of was going through the motion with it, and I have to take ownership for it, because, cool, anyone can say anything to you, but really your actions and choices make you who you are. So I can't say that, oh, he shouldn't have said this and that's why certain things didn't happen, because a lot of the things that he said at the same time, it might be wrong telling me that I'm going to be a superstar and I'm 14 years old. But with some people, that will motivate them to go harder and be like, yo, like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. That's how it's going to be. Yep, like they had to, it was going back and forth with them and Brentford, because obviously there was compensation and whatnot involved. So that it took about a month to sort out the compensation and stuff. But then, yeah, after that, I signed the papers. Oh, it's a big thing in the ends, playing for Arsenal and being that guy, but then also there's hatred around you. A lot of kids aren't happy for you. They're thinking, why is he getting this opportunity? So, and then now when certain things are going on, I didn't like how people would use my name. I'd be like, you just kick ball. You're just that guy that kicks ball. Like, you're not on nothing. And these times, in the ends, kind of being on something is glorified, even more so than playing for Arsenal. So I didn't like that, because I thought, yeah, cool, I play for Arsenal, but still everything that you do, I'll probably do it too. Do you see, like, when you see the bad guys in your area, like, that aren't playing football, that are driving the big Range Rovers and whatnot, I did look up to them. So that was a problem of mine, and they're the people out of everyone from around me that took me in, because I was the kid at Arsenal from the end. So I had love from them, and then I used to see what they do and whatnot. So, but I sort of thought that I'm on doing what these lot are doing at the same time. They didn't want me to be around certain things, but I forced myself to be around it. So I used to, like, my mum found out even not too long ago, every single day or every other day at like 2 a.m. I used to sneak out of my house. But for a couple of reasons, I would run through I thought my area looked better at night time. So I'd run with my football through my area, but I'd run to where I know where the olders are, just to show them my tricks and whatnot. But then obviously these lot are doing wrong things, transactions are going on while I'm just there with my ball, showing them, yo, I can do round the world 10 times. But I just liked being around. I've kind of felt part of something to a certain extent, and I felt I'm doing my thing and I'm gonna bring a lot of us up to the top with me. You know what? Yeah, because my agent was also the agent of Manuel Bue. He kind of knew that I had that little edge. So a lot of the times after games, he'll take me to his house, then I'm not staying at home. I'm staying with him at his house. So I did always want to show him that, yeah, I'm going to be playing with you one day soon. So that was also the motivation that I had at that angle. Do you see, as you get older, you don't want to be controlled. So whereas before my dad would tell me to do this or do that, I'm doing it. But now I guess we had differences with, he would want one thing and I'd want another. So it kind of, we disagreed, and that's all I really can say about it. Because I played for Arsenal, and I was a gas kid. I was a confident, cocky, gas kid in school. I used to listen to a motivational speaker all the time called Eric Thomas. And literally, like, in my English lessons, I wouldn't do no work, but I would stand up in front of the class and say, like, yo, if you want to do anything in your life as bad as you want to breathe, it will come to you. Because that's how I thought with football. I want this so bad, so I don't really even need to do my English work or focus. And I kind of wanted everyone to know that when you want something, yo, go do it. But these times I'm jogging before I'm coming to school, and I'm jogging after school. That's with football. So that's kind of how I was. That rule came in like a conspiracy. So let's say if I'm on the block and I'm with 5 people, and one person has a knife and one person has a hammer, we're all getting arrested. So I started getting arrested quite a lot. So they realized that, okay, something's going on here. And in school, I was just a naughty kid at the time. So they realized that, and they wanted to offer me a helping hand. These times I'm already at school doing counselling, anger management and whatnot, so I'm thinking I'm not interested. So when the counsellor used to call me, I would barely pick up. And to be fair, I never really got in trouble for not doing that too much, because still on Saturday we're playing and it's lit. They tried to help me, like, with the counsellor and whatnot, but it still didn't change what's going on when it's game day. I'd always turn up, but then when I got to like 14, 15, maybe I'll be real, I took the foot off the gas a little bit. I would come just on time. I'm walking into the training ground, eating my chicken and chips. And like, when you're telling me to sprint, I'm not really gonna sprint, but then I'm also doing this, I'll be real, it's for image. Even to my other players, like, I don't really need to try the hardest. I'm already out here, like, and I felt like, yeah, I'm going far. So that's kind of a downside to it, but only one time, just before they offer scholarships, when they told me that you have 3 months to prove yourself. There's players that had early meetings before me that were getting offered the early scholarship. So even when I had my early meeting, I'm thinking, all right, cool, this is what I got told about 2 years ago. Get my early scholar, but then with me, they said, yo, you've got 3 months to prove yourself, so we don't know what you're gonna do, what we're gonna do with you, so. And back then I still had the same attitude, so as soon as they said that to me in the meeting, I didn't hold back. I said, like, what? I was confused, and I didn't even wanna be there no more, straight, like, instantly. I'm thinking, bro, it's mad. But then at the same time, I thought, I don't even care. Because if it's not here, it's somewhere else. And I just had, I don't even, probably I'm saying that I didn't care, but I did. It was just a front, even a front that I'm holding on myself. Because really and truly deep down, I do care. I'm not getting offered my scholarship early, but I'm saying I don't care because I'm this guy I was nothing, but I'm thinking I'm this guy. But they didn't even have the chance, because after that session, one of the parents found out that that's what Arsenal said to me. So the next week I was in Stoke, I snaked it. When I walked downstairs after that meeting, one of the parents asked me, like, oh, what did they offer you? And I told the parent, they didn't offer me nothing. They said I got 3 months to prove myself. So then after that session, the same parent came up to me and was like, yo, you know, Stoke are interested in you. And these times, I'll be real, I had a lot of problems off the pitch. Other sort of situations were going on, so me getting away was kind of a positive thing for me. So I literally went there and I didn't tell no one. The only person that knew was my mum. The guy who like brought me up there, his name was Kevin. They kind of knew the problems that I was having outside of football, so they did try to keep everything under wraps. Stoke, I loved it. They were rubbish at the time. No offense to Stoke, but they weren't the best team. They weren't. It was just northern clubs. I think back then weren't as probably good as they are now. So when you come from London, top London clubs going to Stoke, the quality is not the same. So I liked it there, because now you're one of the star players there, like, so it was good. I was staying in digs there. I had no worries, no troubles. I liked it. And this was the first time in my career I've actually like stayed away from home, out of my area in digs with another family. So I actually enjoyed it. They offered me a 2-year scholar and a 1-year pro. But then this is where it gets technical, because now came back home now, and they said, yeah, you're gonna come in on a Wednesday to sign the papers. So on the Monday, I think it was, I've gone back to Arsenal training now. But everybody knows about what Stoke have offered me. So now I'm walking through there like I'm $1 million. Like, yeah, I've got my contract offer, like I'm patterned. All the coaches are congratulating me and saying, oh, well done, da, 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 da. I'm loving it. Trained with them, cool. Wednesday comes now. Kevin hasn't called me. So I'm thinking, all right, cool. Later that evening, Kevin calls and says, oh yeah, we've just had to postpone it till Friday. So I said, all right, cool, no worries. Friday comes. Kevin calls in the morning and actually tells us what's going on. And I didn't mention while I was there, because I was there for probably like 2 months, another player from Arsenal came as well. I don't want to say his name in case he doesn't want it to be here, but so we was both meant to sign the contract at the same day, and we both got brought there by the same parent. But what it was, the parent started offering and demanding this thing called finder's fee, players' finder's fee, and obviously the amount that he was now saying that he wants, Stoke weren't willing to do so. So that whole deal broke down. Because it's like, yo, you lot told me I got 3 months to prove myself. That means, I'm thinking that means you don't even want me. So yeah, like, my attitude was a bit different now, and I felt a whole different type of way. It's kind of like, it is a letdown, so it did pull me back a lot, more than I probably showed. I just still held the persona as if like, I'm not too bothered. So, I don't even know what to say on it. So wait, the tag thing came after I left Arsenal. Then when it came to Arsenal making a decision, I kind of felt the way that they was gonna go. So I had to explore my options that I had. But then at these times, because of how I was feeling at Arsenal, I was getting in a little bit more trouble outside of football. So that's, like, I could never actually get arrested once. It'd always be, if I get arrested once, I'm gonna get arrested 2-3 times in a short space of time. I don't know what it was. So then my dad came back into my life to like help me out. And he thought, you know what, it might be better for you to go abroad. So that was go to France. So I flew over to France and ended up signing with a team called Valenciennes. I wanted, the image that I wanted to be a footballer, but be a bad man, basically. Because that's just what I thought, yo, that image is sick. In my head at the time, I thought, yo, that's what I want. These times, I'm not 2 foot in on the roads. I'm just there around other guys that are doing certain things. So it's not like I was really deep in there, but I was around it. Like, then obviously there's altercations and situations that they get involved in, and yeah, they would tell me, yo, you're a footballer. But I'd be like, so what? Like, that's why I still wanted to be out here, even though I was the baller at Arsenal. France, cool. At the start, I thought, yeah, this is lit. But then I soon realized, yo, no one, not even the coaches, no players spoke English. And I don't speak French still. So it was very difficult. And I'm gonna even say it's how I was staying on the training ground, so it's like all on campus. And you only get 1 hour and a half internet a day on like my laptop. And I had a phone at the start, but after the first month, like I'm just calling back home every single day. At the end of the month, my phone bill's over a bag. So cool, let me lock off the phone bill and let's grind, innit? So cool, with my 1 hour that I have on the internet, I'm Skyping the man them like every day, trying to speak to them, because when that hour's done, I can't speak to no one. I'm there in my bed reading my book, and I'm not involved in the banter what all the players are having, because I don't understand them. So I'm quite lonely, to be fair. So, but I thought to myself, cool, like, and when I would speak to home, they would say, like, you've got to grind moments like this out. If you really, really want to be a football player, there's sacrifices that you have to make. I did understand it, so at the start I thought, all right, cool, let me go with this and let me grind. But then months down the line, it actually started affecting me, like, mentally a little bit, because I felt like I'm in jail. I'm in a tight room by myself, more or less. I only get 1 hour internet a day, and even like the 1 hour I get, you're in London. You might not be on your laptop on Skype. So a lot of the days I'm not even getting to speak to no one. So it got lonely. I would bond with them because I'm quite a character myself, so I would try to bond and whatnot, but there's only so much forcing you can do when you actually don't understand each other. Like these times, let's say we're all in the room right now. When you lot laugh. I don't know what I'm laughing at, but I'm laughing like I know what's going on. So it was actually a bit mad for me at that time. I wanted to come home because this is also a stage where, like, my friends are going to loads of parties, they're starting to drink alcohol. Like, at this time, I've never drank alcohol in my life. So I'm 16, 17, I've never drank alcohol. I've been just a clean, good guy. And now everyone's starting to drink alcohol, go out. So I felt like, yeah, I'm really actually missing out. When I think 6 months down the line, I wrote a letter in French, basically saying to them that I want to leave. They rejected my letter and said, like, no, like, get your head down and, like, let's work. They basically told me, like, these are sacrifices. If you really want to be a football player, this is what you need to do right now. So then I kind of lost it. So I worked out mad things to do. So remember I told you we only get 1 hour internet a day? When they used to, like, put us to bed, I used to sneak back downstairs. I preed how they stick the wires in. I'd go into that room and I'll reconnect the internet. So now I'm up all night, I'm speaking to the man them on the laptop. Now all of us have internet, so everyone's actually loving what I'm doing. And I'm doing this every single night without fail. Then I got caught. So they clocked, because also when I'm setting it up, before I go to bed, I've got to go back down, and it's like Mission Impossible sort of thing, 007 thing, because the caretaker's walking around to make sure nobody's out. So one morning or a couple mornings, sometimes I would leave it there, like still got internet. So then the caretaker and the coaches would see in the morning, someone's doing something mad here. So then they went to the next extreme, they started looking like the electrical room. So a couple of weeks I didn't have that unlimited internet, but now my head's completely gone. So I would do the next thing, I would just jump over the reception desk and I'm calling off their phone, calling the man them. Every night I'm sitting there, I don't care, even when the caretaker comes, he can't even speak to me because he doesn't speak English. He's shouting at me in French. I don't care what he's saying to me. So I started being kind of rebellious to it all. And I think they did start to realize that, it's not doing me good at the moment. So then I wrote another letter, even more emotional. Like, I've gone deep this time, and they came to agreement with me I'm not allowed to sign for another club in France. If I do so, there will be compensation. But if I sign to a team in England, it's cool. I was playing games starting, it's a bit different in France, so I was under 19, but A lot of the times I was with the reserve team, so they call it the CFA. But remember also at these times, you see like what I'm saying now, it's actually looked at a route to go to build your development, to go abroad or to go to France, to go to Germany. Back then, it wasn't popular at all. So I felt really like I'm the only English boy really doing this. That's why I felt like I wanted to go back, because no one else is doing what I'm doing. So it was a bit mad for me. Obviously, first day I came back to England, a situation happened and I instantly had to move out. So I got my own place, but now I wanted a break from football, because in France it's every single day, training twice or 3 times a day, non-stop. So I just wanted, let me not play football for a month. Let me drink alcohol. Let me go out to go to these parties with my friends, what they're actually doing. So I took a break. I would say to myself, I'm going to take a break for a month. And that's kind of what I did. No one was really, at 17, like from my age group, no one was breaking into the first teams yet. So I felt like we're kind of par at the moment, to a certain extent. Stress and the things that it caused me, I had to take a break. Being in France, like I told you, it did affect me mentally. So I needed that month off to kind of get my bearings back together. I'm seeing what my friends are doing in the ends and stuff. So I've been around that for now the month and a half. But now another agent's hit me up. He's seen me kind of grow up my whole life. He's a friend of Carlton's. So he said that Birmingham are willing to give me an opportunity. So I said, cool, I'm back. Back to the actual grind, what I actually deep down do want to do. So I go stay in Birmingham, I go stay in Digs, stay there for 1 week, had a good first week, come back home, go back to Digs, stay there for another 2 weeks. I'm linking the random, so and obviously I don't know how to say this. So yeah, cool. I'm linking the random. So what happened this time? Just one of the times when I've come back, I've stepped outside my house, and I was waiting for something, but then undercover police pulled up and said, "Yo, like, don't move." So imagine these times, I've just come back from France, I'm at Birmingham, I am super crazy fit, I'm fast. So I've laughed and said, no way, and ran. This was probably to this day one of the maddest chases that I've had, because they just went on for so long with multiple police cars involved in it. These times I'm not even sure why I'm running, but I'm just telling myself, I'm running for my life right now. They are not stopping me. So they're probably thinking at this time, I had a backpack on and stuff, so they're thinking I've probably got the Mazzoline on me right now or something. So they've ended up catching me eventually, battered me up, my whole tracksuit was covered in mud. And I had nothing. But all I had on me was like the train tickets, my Digs person's number, like the business card and Birmingham business card in my pocket. And so when they've taken me to the station, they've called all of them numbers to see why have I been going Birmingham back and forth. And then they raided my apartment at the time. And this is the maddest and the silliest thing that I got a charge on is, so when they raided my house, they found an Oyster card that wasn't mine. I got charged with handling stolen goods and had to do youth offenders. And then when I've come out now, I've called Birmingham. They're not welcoming me back. They kind of gave me a condition not to get them in any situation, so Birmingham, they're not having me back. So now it's back to, you know what, I don't want to play football. So I started going elsewhere. Yeah, I just thought, it's enough for me now, man. That football's caused so many problems in my life, like I wanted to just stop. So I wouldn't watch football. It's like literally if someone passed the ball, a ball was kicked at me, I'll step over that. I couldn't do it no more. I had tunnel vision my whole life in football, so I could never go and do a normal job or anything, but what I really had around me, and I saw three ways, is you've got the trappers, you've got the scammers, and you've got the robbers. With me, I knew all of them. So my hands were in a couple different pies. So I literally thought, how it was going, I'm destined to be a millionaire regardless, because a lot of things was going on. It's lit because now I've reached, let's say, 18. So now, or even from 17, because I was probably a bit lit from young. So from 17, I was already going to the nightclubs in central London. So I was going Scandal, China White at the time it was called, Raffles, whatnot. I was going to these places. So, and that's where other footballers were going, even the ones that are older than me. Then it came to, when I'm 18 now, it's Oceana Watford. I remember like all the Chelsea lot used to go there, and I used to go there. So then it'd be, and then even my old teammates like Tuba and whatnot, we'd go there. So now it's like, I'm holding my end with like the bottle walls against the Chelsea lot. It was a game, but I thought whatever they buy, we're gonna double it and keep going. And then I like this persona now. I'm not a baller, but I'm thinking, yo, I'm litter than you lot. That was my thing. So I'll roll with some of my people that whoever I'm doing my thing with, and then I'd link up with the ballers. And the ballers would love to be around us at the same time. Like, so it was actually kind of all organically perfect for us. Obviously, deep down, I'm wishing I was doing the things that they're doing, but then at the same time, I thought, cool, I'm just gonna go harder and doing what I'm doing right now. Because these times, I'm doing all right, I'm doing well, so I just thought, cool, the same things that they're doing off the pitch and the lifestyle that they're living, I'm still gonna do it. But it did affect me, because of, I'm not making, when you're seeing my friend here is making 50 a week, I am making 50 a week. So, and he's got it on tap, it's coming every single week. It don't really work like that. You do have good runs and whatnot, but there's always a left turning, or your road gets blocked and you've got to switch up your thing. Me seeing someone that I've played with doing fantastic things when I've felt it, there's been so many, because a lot of my friends around me, they've gone all the way to the top and they're doing really good for themselves. But I feel like a real moment that kind of made me deep a lot of things was when a lot of my friends, they won the World Cup. And it's where I was while I was watching that. I was in the band or watching that, and it didn't feel good. So that was a bit mad for me. Obviously, I was still gassed seeing, I'm not a hater, and I'm still so happy for the man. Them, they won the World Cup. I'm gassed. Even when they came back, I'm back out with them. We're going district. We shut it down. They were all bringing out champions and whatnot. But at that time, I really looked at myself as, look at where you are. Well, at the same time, at this moment, I didn't give myself many options. I only had what I'm doing to do. It's not till later where Carlton Mikey showed me a different way to go. So until then, I was still just sort of tunnel vision doing what I'm doing. So Carlton Cole, I've known him for majority of my life. Like even his mum is basically like my second mum, and his little brother's my best friend. So he's been a big influence and played a role in my life from early. And Mikey is like one of Carlton's best friends. So they really took me under their wing. I was just against it. Caused a lot of pain and a lot of things for me. I didn't want nothing to do with it. So just randomly, an old agent called me and said that he would like me to play in this game, and also my friends were playing in the game. So I thought, all right, you know what, cool, let me go and play. And it was against Barnet. Friends are going, so I just thought, you know what, let me go as well. And you know what, I just thought I wanted to play as well. And so then after that game, they wanted like three of our players. So then 2 days later, three of our players, we went to the training. And on the second session, they offered two of us contracts. But it was the contracts to the end of the season, 6 months, with no money. So me and my friend, we just carried on training and playing games, but we would stall them when they would try and pressurize us to sign the contract. But then the thing about Barnet was different. Obviously, it's a smaller club. I'm paying for my own travel every single day to get there. They don't provide lunch, so I'm paying for my own lunch. So it's actually, financially, it's an L, and that's all I'm doing every single day. So I stopped turning up. I've got a good technical ability, and that's something that even now, if you ping a ball to me right now, I'm online. Yeah, I guess so. I still probably had the ability. There was certain parts of my game that I would need to work on, so that's like strengthening certain parts and whatnot, but I still could play with the best at that time. One of my best friends, Ivan, started playing for Hampton and Richmond. So, and at the time, I was staying not far from there, so I started going with him to Hampton and Richmond. And I kind of got the love back a little bit, I'll be honest with you. And I started really doing my thing at Hampton and Richmond, and the coach, his name was Pete at the time, he really saw it and believed in me. So even before that, I'd go to training, but I'd have to get there 40 minutes early, because I'd do extra training with Pete's son, because they're really trying to push me now. Now I'm like the guy there that they're gonna push through. So again, I started getting interest from clubs. I think the main one was Wolverhampton at the time. But same situation, I'm training with them every single day. Financially, nothing's going on. So, and I'm trying to, at the same time when I'm telling you this, I'm still going to Mayfair and all these places on the weekend. I need money. So, cool, even though I had the hype, Pete's calling me, my mum's calling me, telling me this and that, I need money. I stopped going. Doing a mixture of things. Like I said, I know kind of a lot of people that are doing different things, so I guess I was well connected, and there was always an option there for me. So basically at that time, I'll be honest, like when I do things, I do actually like to do it with the best sort of people. So let's say football, it was at Arsenal, I'm playing at Arsenal. So then when it comes to the road stuff, the people that I was messing with or dealing with, they're like the Arsenal of the roads. So I had them sort of people around me in all three of the different avenues. So I was pretty good. and I made it work out. And these times, this is when it gets peak. This is when reality hits. So let's say I go out with the man them. So it'll be Izzy Brown, Dom Solanke, Kyle Walker-Peters, Josh Onoma. We used to even do more stuff, like we used to host our own mansion parties, whatnot, over and over. This is the early stages. A lot of the band them, you lot have grown up and slowed everything down and focused on the craft. But back then we was actually very active. But then what would be a bit mad some days when, obviously when we go out, the bills split the next day, so it's in the group chat. Yo, you've got to pay this, you've got to pay this, you've got to pay that. And what they're saying is hurting my pockets. And it's every single week, sometimes twice or even 3 times a week that things like this are happening. So this is when it got a bit crazy, doing all of it. So this is when you really start seeing that what I'm making is actually nothing compared to these lot. It's a whole different game. I don't know, my mentality is different, because let's say if I'm on 50 bags every single week, I'm not gonna ask you for the same to pay the same amount as me. But whereas a lot of the ballers or whatever, like, okay, a lot of them are brought up differently a little bit as well. So it's just like, I'm paying it, so he's got to pay it as well. But he don't know that he ain't got it like you. But some of them don't really see it, so it's tight. Like loads of arguments happened with, not because wasn't the only non-baller in our group. There's a couple of people that don't have that money. So it kind of got hard for some people. Didn't get too hard for me, I was still out here, but seeing my friends around me and people around me having big birds and being on the run, and there's not many people that now in our generation right now that stay lit, so that live in that £1 million house on the hill. When I'm looking at my elders, certain older people around me that are doing their thing, they're not in the yard that I want to be in when I'm their age. They're not doing what I'm doing, what I want to do at their age. So that's when I was kind of thought, yo, like, it's a bit different now. I've got to change it up. And that's where I was guided by some other older people around me to actually switch it up. But you can't, you see, this is what I say, you can't tell a young G not to do something when they've done it, and then you're doing something new that's positive. You actually have to show me the results. So I'll be real, that's what Mike kind of showed me, the results, and he showed me like literally the bank statements. Mike is a big brother of mine and a mentor of mine that started a company called After Sports Consultancy. And when he started it, he literally took me under his wing. So I was basically living with Mike every single day, me and him going office. I wasn't doing nothing else. Office, back to his, only just working, and he was showing me. Like, he's known about me from a young'un. So I guess how I used to move, he used to move quite similar when he was growing up. So, I don't know, me and him always had like a connection and a certain bond on a different level. So he chose to help me. He showed me that actually the results, and then he would tell me stories and how it feels to actually have like legitly an M in your account. It's a different sort of feeling. It's even different from making a M legitly and then making a M off the roads. It's different. It's so different. He kind of broke all of that down to me, and then he showed me, yeah, cool, this is the plan, this is what we're doing right now. And he showed me, and he's lit. So that kind of motivated me to, yo, like, I'm invested in this. And it's also something that I know, it's football. All my friends are professional footballers. It's something that I've shred blood, sweat and tears into my whole life. I know about it. Like, that's why I say he already knows. If any player I get right now that actually wants to be a footballer and has the desire to be a footballer, if you're around me, it's 100% happening with no doubts. But then it's when they started the company after sports consultancy, is when I started really seeing things. And do you know when you see something and then you believe it more? So that's kind of what happened with it. And they're coming from a place where obviously Carlton Cole was a footballer. He had a lot of trouble with agents his whole life. And especially with the young generation, black generation, we're getting mugged off in the industry. The way clubs throw money in certain places, so you're just bribed. But then you're sold short. And that's what happens with so many other players, because when you offer, all you got to do with a player really is, let's say he's from Peckham or whatnot, Chelsea will just offer him and his mum a house, and then that's it. But now that's amazing for you. But then, let's say the other player, the Caucasian player or whatever, they'll offer him a house and an X amount of money because they need more to convince them and rule them in. But some parents don't know about this. They don't know, but they don't know your son is actually worth millions. But if you offer them 500 grand right now, it's 500 grand they didn't have yesterday. So they're taking it straight away. So, and also you're just sold into so many things which can end really badly for you. Footballer is a short career. And I say it's nearly like being on the motorway. Eventually, the lane that you're in is going to get blocked, but turn left, you're in another lane. So you always got to know about the other lane, what's going on, and actually invest there as well. So that's what the company really helps you, is money management, invested in certain things to build the longevity of your career. That's why I said, even when I made the first video, I didn't actually expect the response I was going to get, but I thought if I can help one player, I've done enough. But then, in fact, I helped more than one. I helped 10, loads. I get hundreds of messages, so it actually feels good. My ego wouldn't let me go and get a normal job, and I know it's the same for a lot of players, because a lot of players have hit me up who haven't made it, said they felt broken. Like, now you've gone from, your ambition was sky high. Now when you've been dropped from football, whatever, you're rock bottom. What can you do? But then what Mikey and Carlton showed me is, there's actually another way how you can be even more lit than my friends are footballers. I'm going to be more lit than my brethren eventually, because I'm going to have 10 players and I'm going to be doing something with him. When you're a footballer, there's only that one income that you're on. So there's different avenues to it. So I'm here exploring them. Oh, there's something I want to say though, because a lot of the times when I wasn't making it, when I was actually there, I always looked around at things to blame. So I was blaming my upbringing, even at some stage I was blaming my dad or blaming my mum. But really and truly, that it's all on your own shoulders, it's your choice. So you can't really blame anyone around you, because at the end of the day, it's all on you. You chose to do, like with me, myself, I chose to go down pathways that maybe I shouldn't have, but I did choose them. No one forced me, no one pushed me, no one shoved me. So really just to take ownership and look in the mirror and at yourself, and it's be real. Because a lot of people, especially with social media, it's not real. But be able to look at yourself and know the truth, real truth. In the football career, there's sacrifices that you have to make. So leaving home and being away from all your friends, if you really want to be a footballer, that's a sacrifice that you're gonna have to make, and you're gonna have to stick to it. So only do it if you really want this thing, because it's not gonna be easy.